Today's cut, a drop fade with no hooks. Let's get it. I'm going to start off by setting my baseline in with the clippers, with the zero closed. After that, I'm going to clear out all the bulk with the clipper just to save more time. Then I'm going to go in with my trimmers to knock it down shorter. That just helps the shaver do its job more efficiently, makes it glide through easier, and later on it'll also make blending that bald line a lot smoother for me. Next, I'm setting my foundation on the side with the number 3 guard with the lever close. This is going to be my length on the sides, following the same shape as my baseline here, guys. And as I work up and I approach where the head starts to round here on the sides, I'm flicking out to keep it smooth. Now on the back, I'm dropping it down a little because I want to preserve that length in the crown. Around the occipital bone is where I'm kind of like flicking out to keep it dark and not expose it too much. After that, I'll grab the 1.5 guard with the lever closed and go up about 1.5 inches to 2 inches above my baseline. Just below where I set the number 3, you know, 1 inch, half an inch below the 3. And if I want the fade tighter at times, I'll keep that lower, right? If I want it more open and stretched out, I'm gonna push this 1.5 just a bit higher. Now I'm going to take the same 1.5 guard but with the lever open. I'm going to flick out with the blade slightly angled out to blend it right into that number 3. Now with the 1.5 you can kind of think like the guard that basically is going to create that top part of your dark area, like where it's about to begin. You know, that's kind of what I use my 1.5 as. So however high you're going up with the 1.5 with the lever closed first is basically where you kind of want that dark transition to start towards the top. So then to blend that in, again, like I mentioned, you just open the lever and you flick it into the 3. Now, here is where I'll pretty much clean up my dark foundation, you know, what I call like the roof or the ceiling. And I'll do this with my thinning shears. You guys know how big I am on thinning shears over comb. So anyone that's new, welcome to my channel. My name is Los and I really seriously appreciate you watching my video. And if you actually want to see how I break down on how I use my thinning shears when I'm fading, if you haven't seen me break that down yet, I actually have a whole video on it that I uploaded last week. I'll drop the link in the description so you can check it out later. Now moving down, I'm going to grab my half guard with the lever closed and start building the bottom of my fade. Following the exact same shape of my baseline, guys. I'm going to do this all around the head. Now to blend this line out, I'm just going to open the lever and just skim over the line, you know, doing gentle flicks. I always like to start safe with the lever open. If it's not blending anything, if it's not cutting anything, then I'm going to close it a little bit, notch by notch, until it fades out. But now, let me tell you something, because most barbers won't really talk about this. Remember, hair texture really matters here. On thinner hair, your half guard can almost mimic going no guard at all. So when you're fading, things usually blend out a lot faster and easier. Same with longer guards, like 2 or 3 on thin hair is going to look much lighter and shorter, right? So on thicker hair, it's the opposite. The same guard lengths will look darker. For example, 1.5 on thicker hair might look more like a 3 or even a 4 would on thinner hair. That's why sometimes you'll need to feel like the half guard isn't even enough to get rid of the line on coarse hair. And I get that. It just won't hit the shade you're looking for. So what does that mean for your hair system or hair method? Well, I stick to my same 3-step fade system, half guard 1.5, then a 3. But I'll adjust depending on the hair texture, guys. On thinner hair, I'm gonna run the exact same steps, but just a bit lower. And for the foundation, I might build up higher with a 4 or a 5. On thicker hair, I'll stick with the same steps, but I know it's going to read darker. So I adjust my detailing with the thinning shears to soften everything up. And that's the key. If you ever feel like the line isn't fading away or whatever, don't be afraid to grab that 1 guard, guys, where I use my half guard. But the one tool that never lets me down, no matter the texture, are my thinning shears. And that's why, like I always tell everybody, thinning shears are your best friends. Now, once I've detailed with my thinning shears and I've finished my top dark foundation or my ceiling, I'm gonna go in with my zero close to blend in that baseline into my fade. And I'm using small gentle flicks here, guys. And now, just to clear something up, because I get asked this a lot, none of my clippers are zero gap, guys. People always ask, bro, are your clippers zero gap? And the answer is no. And they ask because they might have a hard time with the bald line. The reason I always set my baseline with my clipper is so I can control that transition from bald, where I went in with the shaver, into my baseline. So that's why earlier I softened it with the trimmer. It makes it so much easier for me to fade into the zero, you know, after I've softened it up with my trimmer. Now, if you're finding that your zero sometimes isn't fading that line, here's what you can do. Add a little pressure with the clipper, but be careful. Only flick right on the line. Don't push things higher or you'll create new lines and drag your fade up too far. Another tip, have 2 pairs of trimmers. I keep a sharp pair for lineups and edging and a softer pair that I use for fading or taking down the bulk. If that baseline isn't fading, you can grab your softer trimmers and do gentle flicks right on that line. Same motion as with the clipper. That little adjustment makes a big difference. Now guys, for the top, my client usually goes with the number 6 in the middle because he likes it shorter there. So I'm running the 6 right through the center. Now from this, I'm going to use my shears and blend everything into that middle length. Now here's the key, I'm keeping his corners. What do I mean by this? Looking at it from the front, I want to build some shape in those corners, his parietal ridge areas, so his head doesn't look too round. So I'm leaving the sides of the top a little stronger and blending that into the 6 guard, which gives him more of a square shape, again, in his parietal ridge areas. And same thing from the front to the back. I'm going to use my shears to blend the front into that number 6 guard on the top, but I'm keeping the front a little longer and also leaving more length towards the back. This keeps that square shape he likes and adds balance since he is receding a bit. Sometimes when someone's receding, you don't want everything perfectly even, guys. You need those little disconnections, leaving certain areas longer than others, so it looks fuller and more structured once it's styled. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, when I first tried it out on him, I wasn't too sure about it. But once we bring the texture out and style it, it always looks clean. That's just his preference, guys, and since he comes in every 4 to 5 days, he knows exactly how he likes his hair. Once I'm done with the top, I bring all the length down and make sure I'm combing everything into place. My client's got a little bit of a different growth pattern in the front here on his right side. Not really a cowlick, but enough that if it doesn't lay right, the lineup won't come out clean. So I make sure the hair is sitting exactly how it wants to, you know, before I hit the lineup. But after that, guys, I throw on a bit of enhancements on his vertical bars, just to his liking. And then after, to bring his shape to life, I brought out some hair clay, styled the top, and brought that texture out. And this is the final look, guys. I hope you guys are really enjoying these tutorials. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe and drop a comment. I really do check all of them, guys. I even grab ideas for future videos from what you guys say, so keep them coming. I see the love, I recognize all you guys, the names, and I appreciate every one of you. I'll catch y'all next Wednesday. Peace.